All right.
Oh, that was a good Christmas
That was
present. I
crazy,
appreciate
right?
that. Yeah, that was great. That was great. I had no idea. I thought you had somebody that was going to dress up as Santa, and we got Santa himself.
We did.
Before the decline, before the middle age decline. Or somewhere in the middle.
Oh shit. Jeff always
Well, hey,
delivering.
let's. We talked about it a little bit, but let's go through the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, what's next?
Um, Alex, let's. I mean, it's not really game of the week material. I mean, I think it was. We had a couple games that were fairly close, but Alex and Joel had one come down to the wire, bro. Alex had Waddle and Mostert get 32 and 22. Jordan Love got 19. Joel got Alex's sloppy seconds and used it against him. Amon Ross St. Brown, 25. Mark Cooper, 24. Stafford, 23. And it came down to 3.25 points on Monday night with Alex shitting himself for 3 hours. Well, I would say both of them, but Joel said that he already, had some happy pills and shit himself already, I guess. So he's good.
Hell yeah. I mean, you're right. These guys made a trade early in the season, and Alex got most third, which ended up putting up 22 points for him this week. And yeah, Joel had Amon St. Brown. And Devontae Smith was on Alex's team. Usually that ends up biting you in the ass. It didn't this time because Jalen Hurts couldn't deliver in that game. 5 for 50, uh, 10 points. And Joel was just short a couple points. Like 3, 4 points. So
Hmm.
a touchdown or one of those long passes would have won him this matchup and puts an end to his a really good season actually, 10-4, and he did a lot of damage. Had some big name players not come through for him in this one, like Travis Kelsey and Javonte Williams and Brandon Ayuk. Ayuk did pretty bad against Arizona actually, while Debo is blowing up on the other end.
Yeah, you never know who's going to get the rock that much, except for CMC over in San Francisco. But I thought Joel was going to be on a hot streak. He won his
Mhm.
last game. He beat me. I thought I was going to kind of limp into the playoffs. Kind of opposite happened, but it was a great game. But Alex moves on, and he will be playing Carlos. We will get to that preview in a little bit.
All
But
right.
we also had another one that came down to Monday night. And really, it's kind of funny that we thought that, Jalen Hurts might not play or might not play well. We thought, hey, there's a chance he gets, negative points or doesn't get much because he's sick. Yeah, that didn't happen. Manny won going away, 132.5 to 109 over Hector. Manny had his top score was Hurts, 25. Rice got 24. Not the elevator punching Rice. This would be the Chiefs Rice. And
Hmm.
then James Conner, 19. Hector got 29.5 from Njoku. He was the
Wow.
top scorer of this game. CD Lamb got him 20. T Law got 18 somehow. I didn't think T Law even got double digits this week. But Manny moves on. He moves on, like he said. He's been in the Final Four every year here. We got to start making some rules against Manny, I think.
Unbelievable. No matter what you do to try to stop this man, he gets there every year. And here he is with an 8-6 record, reaching the Final Four. So he benched Ty Chandler in this one, 28 points. He ended up going off in that game against Cincinnati. He had 23 carries, 132 yards. We've never seen this from him before. So, and a
Mm-hmm.
touchdown. So ended up with 28 points, left that on the bench. Usually, when you do something like that, you end up losing the game. But unfortunately for Hector, it's just a story of running out of gas. He just ran out of gas. Derrick Henry, 4 points. Tajay Spears, another four. Garrett, five. Once you start getting these single digits, man, it's like it's one of those put a fork in them, you're done. And
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
and when you come with these single digits against Manny, you're 9 times out of 10, you're gonna lose that matchup.
Yeah. 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 You will. You don't have much margin of error with Manny, and
Mm-mm.
Manny sat Ty Chandler. I think Manny told us. He said, "I'm sitting Ty Chandler. I want to give Hector a chance. I feel bad for him. I want to make this closer. I want the game of the week. I want the guys to talk about me on the podcast. You know how Manny is. He's got to be. He's
He
got to be a
loves this
diva.
show. He loves
Yeah.
this show.
Yeah, I know, and he's got to be on it. So he was like, you know what? I can't just win going away over Hector. I got to make it look like the Monday night game matters. And hey, he did. We were looking, and then took about one drive for that to be the case. So,
Yeah.
and last but not least, in my opinion, I trounced Sajid. My team went off scoring well. Sajid's did the opposite. My top three scorers were CMC, Gibbs, and McBride. 46 by CMC. Wish you would have saved some of that for next week.
Wow.
Gibbs and McBride. Sahid's top three is self-explanatory. Debo got 21. That was a good game. But then Josh Allen, 18. And then Deontay and Jacoby tied with 16. His guys just didn't come through. It could have been a lot closer, obviously. But this was week 15 is always wild in the NFL, man. It feels like it's feast or famine the first week of the playoffs.
It sure is. Funny thing, point a couple of points here in this matchup. Yeah, you scored lots of points. That's obvious. You've done pretty well for yourself. I got to give it to you. You inserted some guys that I kind of debated. Not only me, but everybody in this league debated putting in. We're talking about Zamir White on that Thursday night game, and CEH. I had him the week before, played him. He got 7. Got frustrated with him. So anybody else could have. Everybody stayed away from these two guys. You picked them up on Thursday. I'm telling you, seconds before I was going to pick up Zamir White, and you plugged in your starting lineup, and boom, 18 points, 19 points, bro. That's ballsy. Not anybody has those kind of balls, to pull those moves in the playoffs when everything's on the line. So kudos to you for that move. But Jared Goff on your bench, 36 points. When I saw that, I was like, he might lose this one. I don't know. But you did great. And then Baker Mayfield on his side, 37 points. Like, whoa.
Yeah, we both wanted to, put some good points on our bench because, that's the name of the game. Why not? Why do well when you can do poorly? That's kind of what you're supposed to go by. But yeah, man, it's funny. You try to think that, you have these rules down pat, like, when you play fantasy long enough, and you switch somebody at the last second, you tell yourself, and you get burned. You're like, oh, I'm never going to do that again. I'm going to go with my first instinct, And then the next time it comes up, and you're like, but I want to trade. I want to switch them out. No, I'm going to leave them as is. And then he goes off on your bench. You're like, I should have swapped it next time I swap it. And you try to come up with these rules. And I've just realized, man, it doesn't effing matter.
No,
like,
it doesn't.
You gotta make a decision, and you gotta roll with it. For me, the way that I was looking at it is, okay, these are going to be my third and fourth flex. I'm pretty confident in, my starting 5 and my first 2 flex. I thought that, I wanted to make sure that I got at least a solid floor. I didn't think they were going to boom. I just wanted to get, a chance for 8, 9, 10 points. So I didn't, lose by 1 or 2. They did better than I thought. I just figured they would get touches. I, kind of figured the way that the games would go. I was happy that CH got a touchdown. I was not expecting that. That Chargers Raiders game was nuts. Who would have thought,
Yeah, good call.
And we went over your last place game. So basically what that means now is Jeff moves on. Gus's year is over. Jeff plays Kyle and has a chance still to get the choice pick, whether it's the first overall pick, 12th pick, whatever his strategy is. Knowing Jeff, it'll be, the 13th pick. That's what the aim of the loser bracket is to get that winning get that winning combination late in the year out of the losers so that you can set yourself up well for next year. Currently there's 4 guys that have a chance at it. There's Sam and Lewis who play this week, and then Kyle and Jeff. So it'll be interesting. We'll report to you on how that ends, but
yeah,
we only care about wieners.
Yep.
Did I say wieners or winners? Both of them. Why not? Let's make it a sausage fest. So let's preview our semifinals here.
Here we go.
Carlos, our number 1 seed who backed into the playoffs, versus Alex, who is surging and got JJ back.
There we go.
Adding in the 5 points of home field, Alex is favored still by 1.6. So they each have some questionable matchups here. I think Tyreek versus Dallas. Let's see how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's questionable. I think he'll play. I mean, he was close to playing last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise Carlos might self-destruct.
Yep.
Purdy versus Baltimore. That won't be easy. but that's going to be a good game. And then Olave is on the slate to play tomorrow versus the Rams. What stands out to you about those his top three there? Anything?
Last time we looked at Carlos's team, he had a lot of injuries. A lot of his players went down. He lost Justin Herbert for the year. Tyreek Hill got hurt in the game. Brian Robinson missed the game. I mean, yeah, it was ugly. So I'm not, you know what? I'm not gonna point out any specific analysis to roster construction because we're just here for the excitement. We're here for the lights, baby. So he's got to make the adjustments. But you know what? A hell of a pickup with Brock Purdy, number 3 quarterback in fantasy. Because guess what? He's gonna need him to step up this week. What changes he's gonna do? I don't know. Alex, these two guys are looking for their first Super Bowl, right? In their fantasy career. So this is big time, man. Alex has got some moves here. He keeps, tinkling with that lineup. Looks like Gus Edwards is now in the lineup. Like you said, what is it? Well, and I quote Jordan. He said, "I don't want to face Justin Jefferson in the playoffs." Guess what? Carlos is facing him. So, yeah, I don't want to be messing with it. And Jalen Waddle, who went off last week for, what was it, 32 points? Eesh.
I guess a tough matchup where with no Tyreek Hill to take sauce off of him. Yeah, that was impressive. And he's going to have him again. And regardless, Tyreek probably won't be 100%.
Right.
They're playing Dallas, and Dallas is known for having a good defense, but they haven't really been lately, and they just showed. That's what I think might decide that game more than anything is the run game. The Bills just ran all over the Cowboys.
Yeah.
The Dolphins are going to want to do the same because spoiler alert, if you watch the Dolphins, I know that they pass a lot, but they don't want to be a passing team.
No, not this year.
Mm-mm. So that'll be interesting. Alex's top three, like we said, Justin Jefferson versus Detroit. That's going to be a closely contested game. Love versus Carolina or Tua versus Dallas. Now, I'm not sure who he has in there currently. I believe does he have Jordan Love in there right now?
Right now, Jordan Love, and it was the right call because I think he got him 19 and Tua got 16 in that last game. So it had been really close.
Yeah. But so for this game, who would you start if it was you, Love or Tua? Would you want to get that stack, thinking you might need the ceiling upside for that with playing Carlos the top seed, or do you think you want to go for what I would say is maybe a little more safe floor of Jordan Love?
Yeah, everybody has their own little personal strategy when it comes to things like this, and Alex has definitely won and lost trusting Dolphins players in the playoffs. All I know, that Dallas game theoretically should be high scoring, so I would go with Tua. But you can't go wrong with Love lately because he's getting better, right? He's a young guy. He's learning the position, and it shows you in this completion percentage. It's all been up, 68, 69, 64, 74%. And he's been 18, 23, 20. So you're right. So with Love, you're playing more for the floor, the safer floor.
Yeah, and it depends on how he's looking at this. And, you don't want to get a big head when you're in the playoffs because the fantasy gods will smite thee. But, if he's looking at this as, hey, Carlos number 1 seed, but I'm confident in my team. I feel good. I don't feel like I need the risk of, the 40-point game from Tua or the 10-point flop that he could have.
Right.
I'm going to put out, Jordan Love, or, and it might depend. He might wait till Thursday, maybe even Saturday games to see what his deficit or what his, score is with Carlos and then make the decision from there. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, you're right. They are more of a running team. He was 21 for 24 in that Jets game. Very impressive. 84% completion percentage, 224 yards. But guess what? 1 touchdown. And all that equals out to is 16 points. You need more points than that in the playoffs to win.
Yeah. And that's the thing. We'll have to see what happens because Jordan Love plays Carolina. And it sounds like it's a great matchup, but it's like the Texans of last year where they were very good against QBs because they didn't need to pass. Right. So if Aaron Jones is another week removed from his injury and he's doing all right, he's probably not going to throw the ball like he had to last week versus Tampa.
Right.
Next up, the other semifinal game, and this is one that I have a little bit of a vested interest in. I get to host Manny. At least I
There
get
we
a
go.
5 point bonus to start out, and who the hell knows? I'll probably need it. Now, right now, I'm favored by 20 when you factor in that 5 point bonus. That don't mean
Hmm.
shit. Okay, it don't mean shit, folks. That's ESPN. They're the ones that said there's a 99% chance that I could, win. That 1% chance that I might, that whatchamacallit, that Sajid had, DK might get 80 points in one game. So that's ESPN for you. But I got CMC versus Baltimore. I got Justin Fields versus Arizona. And I have Keenan versus Buffalo. If he plays, it's
Yeah.
not looking like he will. So I'm a little bit apprehensive about that. But I'm sticking with Fields again versus Arizona, and I want to get your thoughts on this. I just, started Fields versus Cleveland. Golf went off. Now, normally, you look at this and you're like, damn, I made the wrong decision. I got to put Golf out there. He's hot. But I think matchups matter here. I mean, I don't mean that to state the obvious, but I think the wrong move would be to overreact to that and say, oh, Fields is garbage. I'm not playing him. But he has a layup versus Arizona if he takes advantage of it.
He sure does. He sure does. Again, strategy in the playoffs, everybody has their own little personal style or taste or things that they like to do. And yeah, I that's not a bad call. Arizona, that's a good matchup. The defense is pretty weak. It's at home, right? They got it's in Chicago.
Mhm.
Little caveat for you guys that play with leagues with fantasy defenses. The Bears are a good fantasy defense, by the way. So with a good defense backing you up and Soldier Field, you got to feel pretty decent about that. You just got to trust that Fields is going to get it done. He has a high ceiling. We all know that, and he has what
Mhm.
40, 50 point ceiling. We saw it last year, and
Mhm.
the highest he's reached this year is 39. So you know he's got it in him. He's got to play turnover, mistake free football, which has been his issue all year. But to be honest with you, dude, you can't go wrong with either or. I mean, you got Jared Goff, number 7 quarterback in fantasy. Yeah, he went off against Denver, and Minnesota defense is not the best. But bro, whoever you
Oh,
go with,
that Minnesota defense is legit now. Don't forget they kept it to a 0-0 game
with the
and shut
Vegas,
out the Raiders, who went on to score 63 points 5 days later. So,
this is
uh,
crazy. So it's hard to tell, right? Who's good, who's
mhm.
bad. Like, is this a good team?
And what
Did
Jared Goff are you going to get? That's the thing too. Now it's
exactly
it's going to be in a dome, which is good. And
right?
if I'm not mistaken, let me see. Is he at home? No,
It's
he is
at
at
it's in
Minnesota.
Minnesota, yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, working through my mind, Jared Goff is much better at home than he is on the road.
right.
It's an indoor game. I think it could be a good game, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a 20-17 ball game. That's
Yeah,
not fantasy friendly, but entertaining to watch.
it just
Um,
depends. It just depends how the
yeah,
Lions wanna attack Minnesota. They can do it through both. So that's what makes them so dangerous. It just depends. If they want to be a passing day and just gash them through the air, you're gonna get this 36, 30 point golf. But if it becomes one of those running days, you're gonna get more of a 15 point golf.
yeah, that's true. And Manny, he's got some matchups here too. Hurts versus the Giants, Rice versus Vegas, and Diggs versus the Chargers. I do feel like he has a little bit better matchups here when it comes to his top three, but looks can be deceiving, right? Rice has been hot, but keep in mind that the best quarterbacks don't hone in on just one wide receiver.
Yeah.
And he is still not the first option. Kelsey's still the first option. Hurts versus the Giants. Hurts has been looking human lately. He's scoring points, but
They're gonna whoop.
is he gonna have to be Superman versus the Giants?
They're gonna
Who
whoop
knows?
them
You would
easy.
think, but the Giants been playing better. They've been playing decent defense. Now they just lost to the Saints pretty badly. Don't get me wrong; they're still going to show their ass. But this is a division game. You don't
When
underestimate those NFC East teams when they
hey,
play each other.
hey, when you get beat like you got beat by the Seahawks in the fourth quarter because you were chilling, I mean, there's one thing that the Eagles know how to do, and that's turn up. And they got the big boys on the line to get it done.
They
They're
better
gonna
hope so.
kill. They're gonna kill Tommy DeVito.
I think they're good. They're definitely going to win. Don't get me wrong. I am not singing the praises of the Giants and saying they're going to overcome. But let me give you this. The Eagles right now are playing at home.
Yeah.
They are 12. It is 3 Monday night games, by the way. So
Oh,
Merry
right.
Christmas. But
Oh yeah,
no,
it's
it's not
true.
Monday night. It's 1 o'clock, 4:30, and 8:15. So it's like
Okay,
Sunday part two. All right.
that's better. That's
But
better. Yeah.
yeah, that's not bad. The Eagles win. Don't get me wrong.
No
Eagles win.
way.
But I'm saying that the Giants will cover. I think it's going to be a 10-point game or less.
No, no way, dude. Not if you had Daniel Jones or Eli Manning, I'd be with you. Not in
Daniel
link, not in
Jones. If it was
Lincoln
Daniel Jones,
financial
I'd be on
field.
your side. I'd say it's a 12-point spread. If Daniel Jones was the quarterback, I'd say they'll probably lose by 28. But I mean, come on, Devito. I mean, come on, man.
Hey,
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 hey.
get me the
But
pizza.
I mean, I don't think that it's going to be really that tightly contested. I don't. But
It shouldn't
12
be.
points giving 12 points to the Eagles, who have looked like ass the past few weeks in a
Yeah,
division game
they
that
should whoop
the
'em.
Giants have nothing to do but just play balls out and see if they can, upset the Eagles.
It's not gonna
I think it's
happen.
going to be closer than most think.
No. All right, what's next?
Well, what you watching in Week 16, brother?
What am I watching?
Oh, here we
Cowboys,
go
right?
again.
More
Yep,
Cowboys.
Cowboys. More cowbell? Oh, more Cowboys. That's right. Yep, Cowboys and
Yeah.
Dolphins. Over under is 51.5. We're expecting a shootout. That's what we're hoping for.
Wow.
Now the Dolphins are favored by 1.5.
Right.
So who takes this game? What you looking at?
50 point or 50 and a half spread, dude. This is Merry Christmas to us.
Yes, absolutely.
But this is in Hard Rock Stadium. I think Alex is gonna be at this game. This is gonna be fun, man. It should be fun. Cowboys just came back from a big ass whooping on the road against the Bills. Miami Dolphins, again, we've been talking about these defenses that they were just historically, statistically bad early in the season. Miami Dolphins have been one of the better defenses in the NFL within the past 5 games. Granted, the matches have been a little bit on the easier side, but they have been stepping up, creating turnovers and defensive touchdowns, might you add. So, I think if the Dolphins have Tyreek Hill, they should walk away with this. And again, these are two teams that are leading their divisions at 10-4, and so it's going to affect the top seeds in either conference. But I'm taking the Dolphins, man. I'm taking the Dolphins. I think they want it more. I think they're a little more creative on the offensive side, and the Cowboys. I think they're gonna be tired from all this traveling. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, let me ask you something. What's the date today? It's December, is that right?
Sure is.
And it's late December. So there's 31 days in December. Do that rhyme.
Jordan's
31
conspiracy.
days. So we're past the halfway point. We're close to January. Isn't this about the time that the Cowboys start folding? Isn't it about that time?
They beat the Eagles, Jordan. They beat the Eagles in December.
Yeah, and I beat my meat in December. It has the same result. It doesn't matter. Okay. Yes, the Cowboys are not gonna look. Let me put it this way. Okay.
Yeah.
Good people are not good all the time. Bad people are not bad all the time. All right. Good teams are not good all the time. Bad teams are not bad all the time. The Cowboys will get impressive wins. We know this. They're going to split with the Eagles and their division mates sometimes.
Okay.
But when it gets time to crunch time, do we really think the Cowboys have this in them? Now, here's the thing. They could surprise, and I think this will be a closely contested game. I do think it'll come down to the fourth quarter for sure. But I do not. When it comes down to the fourth quarter, what matters the most when it comes down to the fourth quarter? What comes into play?
Execution, baby.
And what does that come down to?
It comes down
coaching and preparation.
Yeah.
Coaching. Who are you going to trust? And to me, I will trust the Dolphins in that scenario. I think the Dolphins do take this game. I think it's by a field goal, but I think it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, I agree. I think most recent the Cowboys' Achilles heel has been other teams' running game. That other teams have been have had really easy shot at running through that middle of that line. Again, Michael Parsons comes from the corners, right? So they definitely have a deficiency there up the middle, and teams have exploited that lately. Miami Dolphins are very good at running outside, inside, everything in between. So I think
and if they thought James Cook was fast, just wait. People
about to
forget.
find
I
out.
mean, everybody's like, "Oh man, Achan's so fast, dude."
Yeah.
Mostert is just as fast as Achan, bro. He's just a
Yes.
little bit older. Like
Yes.
he is lightning quick. He has some explosiveness to his game.
Yes. And there's no one in that secondary that can keep up with the baddest receiver in the NFL right now. So
Mm-mm. And they don't have their best. I mean, they have Gilmore. Don't get me wrong, but he's past his prime there.
yeah,
But
nah, he can't keep
they
up
don't
with him.
have Diggs. So yeah, and he's liable to get burned sometimes too.
Yeah.
But what if I told you I'm taking your 10-4 versus 10-4 game and upping it a game, and I want to watch some 11-3 versus 11-3 action? I got the Ravens and 49ers. This is going to be a heavyweight matchup. This is the game that I could see being the Super Bowl preview. Now,
Okay.
only reason why I wouldn't bet on that right now is that it's very rare we get one seed versus one seed Super Bowls, and that's what this is right now. But dude, over under a 45.5, and we're talking about two of the top defenses in the league. So that's saying something. 49ers are favored by 5.5, and I think they're sleeping on the Ravens. I think the Ravens cover that spread. I think this is another field goal game. And what I'm interested to see here is the defensive play, because I've said it before, the 49ers have so many options. They can cut you up however you want them to serve it. They can give it to you by their tight end. They can do a CMC game. CMC's always involved so that he can take the pressure off others and open it up for Debo, open it up for Ayuk. So I'm interested to see how that goes against the Ravens, who have a really well coached defense. Really well coached defense. They are very, very smart. And then vice versa. The 49ers have an extremely athletic and well coached defense themselves. The San Francisco does. How do the Ravens counter that with their offense? And it's going to be a chess match. I don't think that this is going to be, and everybody's saying, oh, it's defense. It's going to be, just this bloody knock them out, drag them out game. It's going to be more of a chess match, I think, than anything.
This is a good one. This is a good one. This is one for the football heads, the chess heads, whatever you want to call them, the film grinders.
You just put football heads and chess heads in the same sentence there?
Yeah. Because you got some of the, like you said, some of the best defensive minds going at it. You got Steve Wilkes and Mike McDonald. And I think both of these guys are going to be up for head coaching positions at the end of the year, if not, during playoff times. So you're right. They're very creative how they scheme up their defenses and how they attack teams. They're very good. Two of the hottest teams in the NFL. Offensively, they can both get it done any which way you want. Brock Purdy, a little more stationary quarterback. But boy, has he been good lately. And then Lamar Jackson, you already know the double threat. That dude can get it done 20 different ways. So I'm excited to see what or how they plan to attack each other because they're good. 49ers got some good corners. They can get burnt, but we'll see. We'll see. We got Zay Flowers and OBJ. So not your top tier wide receivers like the 49ers have on there, and like Brandon Ayuk and Debo Samuel. As we've seen lately, Debo can just take over a game by himself. So do the Ravens have an answer for that? Marlon Humphreys, they say he's up there, but he's been toasted a couple times. So he's a good corner, not a great corner, in my opinion.
Yeah, and something that I think will be interesting, and if you're a football nut like me, which some are, some aren't. I know Alex loves getting into this stuff, and you do too. But look at the defensive philosophies. The Ravens run a 3-4 base defense. The 49ers run a 4-3. And it seems like that wouldn't be that big of a difference, but it's a huge difference in how you build a defense, how you build a team, and how you attack the offense. So it's going to be fun to watch the defenses here for sure. And hey, Brock Purdy, do you think he could win the MVP? Is he the MVP front runner for you?
I think he's in the MVP running. I was talking about this, I think, with my brother the other day. I would say top 5. He's definitely in the conversation. He's definitely not going to win it, but he's got an MVP-like season. So kudos to him, Mr. Irrelevant, and what these guys have done over there with the 49ers, coaching them up, right, and letting Trey Lance go and choosing this guy as their main guy.
It just
we will see in the playoffs, right, if it pays off. But so far, the arrow's only pointing up for Brock Purdy.
Dude, it just goes to show that even after all this time, there's still 32 different scouting departments still can't get it right when it comes to the QB position. You know, they traded up to get Trey Lance. Don't forget that. And if it wasn't for the fact that they got Brock Purdy with the last pick of the draft, where most players would rather just be an undrafted free agent so they can sign where they want, they lucked out, or else they could, you know, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan could be out of jobs right now. So it's razor thin in the NFL, but it's good. This is the fun time of year, man. It's the fantasy playoffs. It's the end of the regular season. The playoffs are starting to take shape. Everybody has reason to believe this year or reason to look forward to next year. Any parting thoughts before we head into the last 2 weeks of our fantasy season?
Just everybody enjoy this moment. um, I remember the time, when the NBA season was shortened, and when COVID was just rampant. Remember, and we didn't know when the games were going to be played and who was going to play in the game, and with the testing, it
No
was just
fans.
it was just chaos. Guys, we have football on Christmas. Like, I don't how we probably had this before. Yeah, we probably had this before, but I mean, this is amazing. This is a special moment, special time. So enjoy it with your kids and your family, or your dog, or whatever you got going on. Um, enjoy the talent, right? This is playoff football at its finest in December. So
This
the
is where
next
the
time you're
cream
gonna,
rises to the top. Yep.
right, so the next time you're gonna see this is gonna be, in January. So here
Well,
we
don't
get it.
forget the playoffs have started now. Like the
You're
Bills
right.
are playing for like it's the
They are.
playoffs. They have to. And there's a lot of teams like that, and even say for example the Bucks and the Saints, they look like crap and leading the soft NFC South a lot of times, but it's playoff football, and the games matter now more than ever. So especially in our league, enjoy it, guys. It feels like the fantasy and the football season comes and it takes forever to get here, and then just like that, it's Christmas time. We're winding down. So enjoy the holidays with your family. Enjoy the football. Enjoy fantasy. It's supposed to be fun. Yes, we're going to be sweating it out. We're going to shit ourselves. We're going to piss ourselves, hoping that everything goes our way. But ultimately, this is that time of year, right? So enjoy it.
Hell yeah. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace, everybody.